Everyone always tells you to be realistic. It's supposed to be this great piece of advice, right? But what if it's the very thing that's actually holding you back? Today, we're going to dive into the psychology of extreme self-belief and explore why being, well, a little delusional might just be the most practical way to get what you really want. So let's kick things off with this quote, because it really sets the stage perfectly. Every person worth remembering was called delusional first. Just think about that for a second. The people who truly change things, the ones who leave a mark, they're the ones who can see a reality that, well, it doesn't even exist yet. I mean, take Kobe Bryant. As a kid, long before he had any proof, any rings, anything, he was telling people he was going to be better than Michael Jordan. Can you imagine? People must have thought he was absolutely nuts. Or how about Muhammad Ali? He famously called himself the greatest before he even had a single heavyweight title to his name. Were they delusional? Maybe. Or maybe that belief was the very fuel they needed for their entire journey. Okay, so let's unpack this thing. We're calling it the delusional advantage. It's a pretty powerful idea that kind of turns all that conventional wisdom right on its head. And I want you to really sit with this question for a moment. What if being realistic is actually the most unrealistic way to get what you truly want? When you think about it, being realistic usually just means accepting the limits that other people and your own past have already set for you. Here it is. This is the core difference. The person who is out there living your dream life, they believed they could do it before they had any proof. That's really it. That's the secret sauce. It's this unwavering, almost premature belief in a future that isn't here yet. Now, we have to draw a really clear line here. It's so important to understand the difference between this productive kind of belief and, pure fantasy. They are not the same thing at all. So this is the critical distinction right here. On one hand, you've got actual delusion. That's passive. It's belief minus action. It's thinking you're going to become a billionaire just by scrolling on your phone all day. On the other hand, you have delusional confidence, and that's belief plus action. It's the absolute conviction that you can build something nobody thinks is possible, and then you actually get to work building it. One gets you nothing, the other, it can get you everything. So, that's the crucial point, isn't it? Belief is only half of the equation. It's the spark, for sure, but it is not the fire. So let's look at that other, totally non-negotiable part that makes this whole thing real. And that other part is what we call obsessive action. This is the engine that drives the whole thing. It's the process of working so relentlessly, so hard, that your seemingly impossible belief starts to feel, well, inevitable. See, you can't just sit around and believe. The work has to match the ambition. You have to work with an intensity, like you're actually trying to prove every single person who called you crazy right. All right, so this all sounds great in theory, but how do you actually do it? I mean, really, how do you do it when your own brain, your own survival instincts are fighting you every single step of the way? Well, first, you have to understand that our brains aren't designed for massive success. They're wired for survival. And what that means is their default setting is to constantly scan for what could go wrong, to see all the dangers, and to avoid big, scary risks. Now, that's normal, but the good news is it's not a life sentence. You can actually reprogram it. And here's the practical daily process for how to do it. Step 1, do one thing every single day that scares you. Send that email, make that call, post that video. Step 2, act precisely at the moment your brain is screaming, no, don't do it. Every time you do that, you're rewiring that fear response. And step 3 is simple. Just repeat. Do it over and over until acting in the face of fear becomes your new automatic. Okay, so let's talk about the hard part. Because this journey, it is not a highlight reel. It's a grind. And it's really important to know what to expect when you start down this path. First off, expect to feel like a complete fraud. That's just imposter syndrome. And trust me, it's part of the process. Expect to tell people your big goals and get some pretty crazy looks in return. And this is the big one. Expect to work your tail off and see absolutely zero results for months, maybe even for years. But here's the key mindset shift you have to make. You have to remember this. That's not a sign you're doing it wrong. That's a sign you're doing something that matters. All that friction, all that doubt, the struggle, that's actually the proof that you're pushing boundaries. So, I want to ask you a very direct question, and I want you to be really honest with yourself. What truly separates you from the person who is already out there living your dream life? The answer, it turns out, is a lot simpler and maybe a little more confronting than you might think. It's just doubt. That's it. It's not a lack of skill, because you can always learn skills. It's not a lack of resources, because you can always find resources. When you boil it all down, it is just doubt. And if doubt is the poison, well, there's only one cure. The only cure for doubt is delusional action. The kind of relentless, obsessive, focused action that makes other people look at you and think you've completely lost your mind. Action is the ultimate antidote. So let's end on this final thought. Being realistic has gotten you to exactly where you are right now. Just take a look around. And now ask yourself, what could being just a little bit delusional do for your future?